Marvel just did something insane. They cast Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, the villain who's supposed to destroy the Avengers in the next 2 movies. Fans cheered because it's RDJ coming back, but nobody stopped to ask the obvious question. Why would Marvel bring back their most beloved hero just to turn him into a villain? Unless Doctor Doom isn't actually the villain at all, or at least not in the way we think. Because when you look at all the leaks, all the rumors, and all the comic book storylines Marvel is pulling from, there's a pattern emerging that's way darker than anyone realizes. I'm talking about a version of Doctor Doom so twisted, so power-hungry, that he literally sacrificed his own child to gain godlike abilities, and now he's manipulating every hero in the multiverse to help him do it again. Today, I'm breaking down the Franklin Richards connection, the Avengers Forever storyline, the female Doom variant's controversy, the multiversal manipulation, the Void Battle finale, and why this might be the darkest thing Marvel has ever done, the Franklin Richards bomb. Let's start with Franklin Richards because this kid is not normal. In the Fantastic Four movie coming out, Reed Richards and Sue Storm have a son named Franklin, and according to multiple leaks, Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom shows up at the end of that film, takes off his mask, and touches Franklin's face. That scene makes no sense, unless you know what insiders have been saying for months. Doctor Doom is from a different universe where he was married to Sue Storm and Franklin was his son. His universe got destroyed in an incursion, one of those multiversal collisions where 2 realities smash into each other and both get erased. He lost everything. His wife, his child, his entire world. So when he shows up in the Fantastic Four universe and sees a variant of his dead son, of course he's going to have a moment. That's the story Marvel wants you to believe, and honestly it's pretty emotional. A villain motivated by the loss of his family is classic storytelling. But here's where things get weird. Sources have been calling Franklin Richards the living MacGuffin of these movies. Not a character, a MacGuffin, which means he's an object, a tool, something that gets used to move the plot forward. Alex Perez, who's been right about Marvel stuff before, specifically used that term. Other leakers have said that Franklin is how characters will travel between universes in these films. The Fantastic Four will apparently use the Power Cosmic, this insane energy source from the comics, to activate Franklin's abilities and boom, instant portal to another dimension. And then there's the big one. Multiple sources say Doctor Doom will use Franklin's power to take all the destroyed universes at the end of Avengers Doomsday and smash them together into one giant patchwork planet called Battleworld. That's literally the plot of the 2015 Secret Wars comic, where Doctor Doom becomes God Emperor Doom and rules over a Frankenstein reality made of dead universes. In that story, Doom uses a character called Molecule Man to do all this. Molecule Man is wild. He's not like other characters who have variants across the multiverse. He's the exact same guy in every single reality, which shouldn't be possible. Turns out he's not even really a person. He's a bomb. The Beyonders, these cosmic gods who created the multiverse as an experiment, put a copy of Molecule Man in every universe so they could blow up all of reality at once if they felt like it. Just snap their fingers and every universe explodes simultaneously. But Molecule Man is also insanely powerful because he's connected to the Beyonders, so when Doctor Doom figures this out in the comics, he kills the Beyonders, steals their power, and uses Molecule Man as a battery to hold all that energy. That's how he becomes God Emperor Doom. Now, obviously, Marvel isn't going to introduce the Beyonders and Molecule Man in these movies because nobody knows who those characters are. They need someone the audience already cares about, someone innocent, someone the heroes would want to protect. Enter Franklin Richards, a child with godlike reality warping powers who just happens to be the son of 2 beloved heroes. It's perfect. The Fantastic Four will do anything to save their kid. The Avengers will do anything to save a child, and Doctor Doom knows that. But here's the thing that's been bugging me. If Franklin has the power to create universes, if he's the living MacGuffin that Doom needs to build Battleworld, then where did Doom get his power in the first place? His universe was destroyed. He survived somehow. He ended up in the Fantastic Four universe with all this knowledge about incursions and multiversal collapse and how to fix everything. How does he know all this? How did he survive his universe being erased? Unless he didn't just survive. Unless he's the one who destroyed it. The Valeria Protocol. There's a comic run called Avengers Forever that came out in 2021, written by Jason Aaron, and it features the most evil version of Doctor Doom ever put to paper. This isn't regular Doctor Doom who's arrogant and power-hungry, but still has a code of honor. This is a Doom who went full psychopath. In this story, there's a council of Reeds, a group of Reed Richards variants from across the multiverse who work together. Doom hates them, obviously, because Reed is his nemesis in every universe. But this version of Doom doesn't just hate Reed. He hunts down variants of himself from other universes, captures them, forces them to cut out their own tongues, and turns them into mindless servants who pretend to be Doombots. Yeah, he enslaves other versions of himself because they weren't ruthless enough. But the darkest part is how he got his power. In the comics, Doom loves a woman named Valeria. She's the love of his life. the one person he might actually care about more than power. Might. This evil Doom variant took Valeria, ripped the skin off her living body, and fused it with his armor to gain ultimate power. He sacrificed the person he loved most in the most horrific way possible because that's what it took to become the Doom above all Dooms. Now let's connect this to the MCU version. We know Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom came from a universe where he was married to Sue Storm and had a son named Franklin. We know his universe was destroyed in an incursion. We know he somehow survived and gained enough power to travel between universes, understand how the multiverse works, and manipulate cosmic-level events. What if he didn't lose his family in the incursion? What if he caused the incursion, and when his universe started collapsing, he absorbed Franklin's power cosmic to save himself? Think about it. Franklin Richards in the comics is an Omega-level mutant who can create and destroy universes. If anyone could survive an incursion, it would be someone with Franklin's power. Doom couldn't save his universe, but he could save himself by taking his son's power. And maybe Sue's too, just like the Valeria variant ripped off her skin. He becomes this multiversal god not because he's a survivor, but because he's a monster who sacrificed his own child for power. And now he's traveling through the multiverse looking for a variant of Franklin so he can have his son back, except it won't really be his son. It'll be a replacement, a copy, a do-over. He gets to keep the godlike abilities he stole and play happy family with a different version of the kid he murdered. That's unbelievably dark, and it would make Doom the most twisted villain Marvel has ever put on screen, way worse than Thanos. Thanos thought he was saving the universe. This version of Doom knowingly killed his own family for power, and then manipulated everyone into thinking he's trying to save the multiverse, when really, he's just trying to rebuild his life with a new family stolen from another universe, the manipulation game. If this theory is true, then everything Doom says in Avengers Doomsday is a lie, and the scary part is we already have leaks confirming that Doom is manipulating everyone in this movie. Let's go through what we know. First, Doom shows up in the Fantastic Four universe at the end of their movie, and touches Franklin's face. Reed and Sue see this and probably freak out because some armored dude in a metal mask just touched their kid. But then Doom takes off the mask, and it's the face of Tony Stark. Not their Tony Stark, obviously, but a Tony Stark. And according to leaks, Doom tells them his story. He was married to a variant of Sue, he had a son named Franklin, his universe was destroyed, he lost everything. Leakers say Doom will manipulate the Fantastic Four into helping him by playing on their emotions. Sue sees a version of herself that Doom loved, Reed sees a variant of himself that Doom respects, they see a grieving father who lost his child, and they have empathy for him because they can't imagine losing Franklin, so they help him. Next, Doom shows up in the 616 universe, the main MCU timeline, and he does the same thing with the Avengers. He reveals that he's a variant of Tony Stark. Not just any variant, but one who became Doctor Doom in his universe. The Avengers are immediately thrown off because they just lost Tony. He sacrificed himself to save everyone. They miss him. And now here's a version of Tony who's still alive, who says he's trying to save the multiverse, who needs their help. Peter Parker would be especially vulnerable to this. He lost his mentor. Here's a chance to work with a version of Tony again, even if he's different. Sources say Doom specifically tells the Avengers that Steve Rogers has to die for the multiverse to survive. He says that when Steve went back in time to live with Peggy Carter, he created a branching timeline that's now causing incursions. If they can go back to that moment and stop Steve, or maybe even kill him, they can prevent the collapse of the multiverse. He claims he has the power to stop time at that exact moment using Franklin's abilities, freeze everything, and save all of reality. Obviously, this is nonsense. Killing Steve Rogers isn't going to save the multiverse, and Doom knows that. But it's a brilliant manipulation because it forces the Avengers to question everything. Sam Wilson just became Captain America. He's trying to honor Steve's legacy. Now Doom is saying that Steve's decision to live a happy life is destroying reality. It creates division among the heroes. Some will say, no way, we're not killing Steve. Others will say if it saves trillions of lives, we have to consider it. And while they're all arguing, Doom is doing whatever he actually came to do. There's also a leak that says Doom convinces the Fantastic Four and the Avengers to go into the X-Men universe and fight the X-Men. No one knows why yet, but if Doom is manipulating everyone, then maybe he's just trying to weaken all the heroes before the final battle. Get them to fight each other, waste their resources, lose their trust in each other. Classic villain strategy. And here's the kicker. A recent leak from the Mystic account, which has been accurate before, says that Clea, Doctor Strange's new partner from the multiverse, is secretly working with Doom. She believes Doom can restore multiversal order and the heroes can't. But as the movie goes on, she starts to doubt herself because she witnesses Doom's true plans. That means even the people helping Doom don't actually know what he's planning. He's lying to everyone. The Fantastic Four think he's a grieving father. The Avengers think he's a variant of Tony trying to fix things. Klee thinks he's the only one powerful enough to save reality. Everyone believes something different, and all of it is a lie. The Void Showdown? So what's Doom actually trying to do? According to leaks, the climax of Avengers Doomsday takes place in the Void, which is that wasteland dimension at the end of time where Loki Season 1 happened. In the comics, the Void is where Alioth lives, that giant cloud monster that eats things erased from the timeline. The TVA used to send pruned variants there. But in Loki Season 2, Loki takes control of the multiverse by sitting at the end of time and holding all the timelines together with his magic. He literally becomes the new Loom, the thing that keeps the multiverse from collapsing. Now here's where it connects to Avengers Forever, the comic run I mentioned earlier. In that story, there's a character called Avenger Prime Loki who sets up a base at the end of time called Avengers Tower. He goes through the multiverse recruiting variants of the Avengers to fight the multiversal Masters of Evil, which is basically a team of the most evil villains from across all realities led by that psycho version of Doom. Loki realizes that nobody knows the Avengers better than him because he's been fighting them forever. He knows their strengths, their weaknesses, how they work together. So he becomes the guy who assembles the greatest team of Avengers ever, pulling heroes from every timeline and reality. Sound familiar? Because leaks say that at the end of Avengers Doomsday, there's a massive battle in the Void, where Doom and an army of Doombots fight against multiversal Avengers assembled by Loki. We're talking Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, multiple variants of Thor and Captain America, maybe superior Iron Man, and a bunch of other heroes from different universes. Chris Evans might even show up as Steve Rogers leading this army. It's supposed to be this insane everyone versus Doom finale. But here's the thing. The leaks also say that by the time this battle happens, 3 universes have already collided and been destroyed. The Fantastic Four universe, the X-Men universe, and the 616 universe all smash into each other in an incursion and get erased. So the heroes are already too late. The multiverse is collapsing. And while Loki and the Avengers are fighting Doom in the Void, Doom is actually trying to get to where Loki is, to the center of the multiverse, because that's where the ultimate power is. If Doom can take Loki's place, if he can control the multiverse the way Loki does, then he can do what he's been planning all along. He'll take the 3 destroyed universes, 616, Fantastic Four, and X-Men, and he'll smash them together into Battleworld. Not to save them, but to rule them. And he'll use Franklin Richards to do it, the same way he used his Franklin to gain power in the first place. Except this time it won't even be his Franklin. It'll be a stolen child from another universe who Doom will force to rebuild reality according to his design. That's the twist. Doom isn't trying to save the multiverse. He's trying to replace it with a world where he's God. The Doombot army twist? Now let's talk about Doombots, because this is where things get even more messed up. For years, Doctor Doom has used Doombots in the comics, robot duplicates of himself, that he sends out to do his dirty work. That way, if a Doombot gets destroyed, it's not actually him. He's safe in his castle while everyone thinks they beat him. It's a genius strategy, and it makes Doom almost impossible to kill, because you never know if you're fighting the real Doom or a robot. Leaks say that Doom will have an army of Doombots in Avengers Doomsday, specifically during that final battle in the Void. But then Daniel RPK, a pretty reliable scooper, dropped a bomb last week. He said there are variants of Doctor Doom in this movie, including female variants. People lost their minds. Some were mad about the female Doom thing. Others were confused about how Doom variants even work. But then other leakers started confirming it. Mystic said it's real. Sources reached out to multiple channels describing 3 female Doom variants wearing golden masks, one in purple, one in green, one in gold. There's also apparently a Doom variant with horns. And suddenly it clicked. These aren't Doombots. They're Doom variants that the main Doom captured and enslaved, just like in Avengers Forever. In that comic, the evil Doom above all Dooms goes around the multiverse finding other versions of himself and forcing them to cut out their own tongues so they can't speak or resist. Then he makes them serve him as if they were Doombots, mindless slaves in armor who follow his orders. It's horrifying because these are living people, other versions of Doom who could have been heroes or villains in their own universes. But now they're just puppets. And the female Doom variants fit this perfectly. In Avengers Forever, the Doom above all Dooms has a right-hand enforcer who's always by his side wearing a golden mask and purple robes. Turns out it's a Dark Phoenix variant. Not the normal Phoenix who's a hero, but a corrupted evil version of Jean Grey who has the Phoenix Force, one of the most powerful cosmic entities in Marvel. Doom went out into the multiverse, found the most powerful villains he could, and recruited them to his masters of evil. If the MCU Doom has 3 female variants in golden masks, and one of them is wearing purple, and there are other Doom variants with horns and different designs, then it's obvious what's happening. Doom has been traveling through the multiverse, collecting powerful variants either of himself or other characters, and forcing them to serve him. Maybe the female Doom variants are other Dooms he enslaved. Maybe one of them is a Dark Phoenix variant like in the comics. Maybe the Horned Doom is a demon version from a hell dimension. We don't know yet. But what we do know is that when the Avengers show up to fight Doom in the Void, they're not fighting robots. They're fighting enslaved variants of real people who Doom broke and turned into weapons. That's so much darker than just fighting an army of robots. Every enemy the Avengers kill in that battle is a person from another universe who is a victim of Doom. And the heroes won't even know. They'll think they're destroying machines when really they're mercy-killing prisoners. The sacrifice revealed. So let's put it all together and see just how dark this gets. Doctor Doom comes from a universe where he was married to Sue Storm and had a son named Franklin Richards. His universe starts collapsing in an incursion. He knows he can't save everyone, but he figures out that Franklin has the power cosmic godlike abilities that could let someone survive the end of a universe. So Doom makes a choice. He absorbs his son's power, maybe kills Sue too, and takes her energy as well, just like the Valeria skin armor version from the comics. His entire universe dies, but he survives, now wielding the power of a cosmic god. He travels to the Fantastic Four universe and sees a variant of his son. He tells Reed and Sue a lie about losing his family, manipulates them into trusting him, and either takes Franklin or convinces them to help him save the multiverse. Then he goes to 616, reveals himself as a Tony Stark variant, and manipulates the Avengers by telling them Steve Rogers has to die. He gets the Fantastic Four and the Avengers to fight the X-Men for some reason, weakening all 3 groups. Meanwhile, he's traveling through the multiverse, enslaving Doom variants and recruiting powerful villains like Dark Phoenix. He's building an army. By the end of Doomsday, 3 universes collide and are destroyed. Billions die. But Doom doesn't care because he's already at the Void, fighting his way to where Loki is holding the multiverse together. The Avengers try to stop him, but he has an army of enslaved variants and Doombots. Loki summons Multiversal Avengers to help, but it's not enough. Doom reaches the center of the multiverse, takes Loki's power, and uses Franklin Richards to smash the 3 dead universes together into Battleworld. He becomes God Emperor Doom, ruler of a patchwork reality made from the corpses of dead worlds. And here's the kicker. The Fantastic Four on Battleworld, the Sue and Franklin that Doom lives with in Secret Wars, they're not his family. They're variants he stole from another universe. He killed his real family for power, lied to everyone about it, manipulated the greatest heroes in the multiverse into destroying each other, enslaved innocent people from other universes, and then built himself a new family with stolen variants, so he could pretend he's a good person. That's not a villain trying to save the universe like Thanos. That's not even a villain trying to conquer the universe like Kang. That's a narcissistic psychopath who murdered his own child, destroyed multiple realities, and enslaved countless people just so he could play house with a fake family while ruling as a god. If Marvel actually does this, if they reveal that Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom killed his son Franklin to gain power, it will be the darkest thing they've ever put on screen. And the twist is that the audience won't figure it out until Secret Wars. Throughout all of Doomsday, we'll think Doom is a tragic figure, a man who lost everything and is trying desperately to fix the multiverse. We'll sympathize with him. We'll understand why the heroes help him. And then in Secret Wars, the truth will come out. Maybe Loki figures it out. Maybe Doctor Strange does. Maybe Franklin himself, the one Doom stole from the Fantastic Four universe, starts having visions of what the original Franklin experienced when Doom absorbed his power. However it happens, the heroes will realize they've been played. Doom isn't trying to save anyone. He already won, he's God now, and the heroes are stuck on Battleworld with no way to stop him. That's when the real fight begins. That's when Reed Richards has to outsmart a version of Tony Stark who has cosmic god powers. That's when Franklin Richards, the stolen son, has to choose between the man pretending to be his father and the heroes trying to free him. And that's when Robert Downey Jr. will get to show his range as an actor, playing a character who's charismatic and sympathetic on the surface, but absolutely monstrous underneath. It's genius casting because RDJ made everyone love Tony Stark. He was the heart of the MCU, so putting his face on the villain who's the opposite of Tony in every way, a man who would sacrifice his child instead of sacrificing himself. That's the kind of twisted storytelling that stays with people. The question is whether Marvel actually has the guts to do it. Are they really going to make Robert Downey Jr. a child murderer? Are they really going to reveal that this charming character we've been rooting for is actually worse than Thanos? Because if they do, it'll change everything. It'll redefine what a Marvel villain can be, and it'll prove that bringing RDJ back wasn't just a nostalgia play. It was the darkest creative decision Marvel has ever made. So that's the theory. Doctor Doom killed his son Franklin to gain cosmic powers, manipulated everyone in the multiverse, enslaved innocent variants, destroyed 3 universes, and stole a new family to rule over as a god. And somehow Marvel convinced us to cheer when they announced Robert Downey Jr. was coming back. That's the ultimate magic trick right there.